Why does nobody want to buy this Peugeot Ion?
As you know, I have established myself as a used car dealer selling only electric cars. And I recently, well, not that recently now, a couple of months ago, bought into stock this 2012 Peugeot Ion. And I thought this would fly out the door. It's a cheap, small, rear-wheel drive hatchback, which, although it doesn't have a huge battery, it doesn't have a huge range, and it is sort of showing its age a little bit in terms of its capability. I did think that it was something that people would rush to buy. It's cheap. The retail price of this, well, I had it advertised at sort of £3,500. Now available for £2,995 if you do decide you want it. Although by the time you see this, I might well have traded it on. I do have a trader friend who is a bit of an EV enthusiast as well, and he's actually quite interested in buying this. More for a laugh than for something to put on his forecourt, I think. He made some musings about maybe using it as a courtesy car or just a general runaround. And that's kind of what I've been doing with it in the time that it's been here and not selling. So he might well have it by the time you see this. But if you do decide you want a 2012 Peugeot Ion for £2,995, give me an email and we'll see if we've still got it and we can do you a deal. But I thought it would fly out the door because it's not a lot of money for actually what is a decent little EV. And, you know, if we take a look round this one, it's not in the best condition. The paintwork is a little bit ropey, but it's not like that it's rusty or it's terribly accident damaged or anything like that. It's just 12 years old. You know, there's some weird marks in the paint which aren't sort of damage related. It's just sort of I almost wonder if you could wet sand it to make it uniform again, but I'm not going to try and do that myself because I will definitely make a mess of it. And then there is some damage here and there as well. There's a few sort of bumps and scrapes around it. It's a little city car that's lived a bit of a life, and you know, so it's no oil painting, but it doesn't look particularly bad. It's reasonably presentable, and it's got a fresh MOT. It absolutely flew through the MOT. It's got 4 new tyres on it. It's just had new front brake discs and pads. And I thought it would make someone a really, really good little introduction into electric motoring. Or for someone who's got, you know, maybe a much, much more capable modern EV as their sort of main car, a great second car for nipping to the shops or leaving in the station car park, or all those various reasons people have a second smaller car that doesn't really go very far. There must be loads of people out there that have like an old Corsa or a Fiesta or something like that wheezes around town, does a handful of miles a week, barely gets used, and actually you could replace really, really well with something like this, where if you've got solar or you've got an EV tariff or whatever, you can run it for basically nothing. I mean, it's still free to tax at the moment. Obviously, that is due to change next year. And it costs literally nothing to run. I mean, on Octopus Intelligent or charging from solar or whatever, the cost per mile is absolutely tiny. And obviously, because it's had some of those consumable items sorted, like it's got 4 new branded tyres on and it's had the brakes done and stuff, there really isn't very much to worry about. Now, okay, it is 12 years old and it does kind of show. This probably has a range now of about sort of 40 to 50 miles. That is down a little bit on what it would do when it was new. The battery state of health, as per the battery certificate, which we now offer on all of the cars that we sell, it shows it has a state of health of 71%. Now, that might sound low, and it is a little bit low, but for the age and for the battery technology that this uses, I don't think it's terrible. And it is still usable. Just because the state of health is 71% doesn't mean it's faulty, doesn't mean that it's not going to last a good few more years. And therefore, for £3,000, is it any more of a gamble than buying, you know, an old petrol or diesel car for £3,000? I mean, £3,000 doesn't buy you that much on the second-hand market these days. And therefore, I thought for a little city car with fresh MOT, fresh tyres, all that stuff, it is a little bit of a bargain. But it seems that the market doesn't agree with me. It's been advertised on Auto Trader for a couple of months. It was on eBay for a bit as well, and I've not really had any interest in it at all. Now, I don't think it's massively overpriced. It certainly seems in line with any other ones that are around. You'll occasionally see them a little bit cheaper, but usually ones that are a bit rougher than this in terms, or they're higher mileage, and they maybe done twice the miles. And so I think for a 40,000 miler with all those bits done, I think it's fairly priced, but it just doesn't seem to be what people want. Now, I'm not too sort of beat up about this. It's going to happen. I'm still sort of finding the market as I establish myself, and I think I've got a pretty good eye now for Leafs and Zoes in terms of what to buy, what will sell, what you can price them at. I'm doing quite well with them. In particular, Zoe ZE40s seem to be a real sweet spot of price and value. You can offer them at the sort of £7,000-8,000 mark, but for that amount of money, people are getting a real lot of value. They're getting a car with a 140, 160 mile range, and all the practicality the Zoe has, a bit bigger than this, and a bit more practical, and therefore they seem to fly out the door. Likewise, like 24 kilowatt hour Leafs that are healthy, that have like 11 bars, they seem to be really popular, and they don't seem to hang around long. I like to dip my toe in the water with other stuff, so I bought this having not had one of these before. I thought I'd see what it was like. I'm definitely now going to shy away from them. I won't be actively looking to buy one of these into stock. I think if somebody wanted to part exchange one, fair enough, we could probably have a deal, we could make something work, but I'm not going to go out of my way to find one of these to buy. Likewise, the i-Miev and the Citroen C-Zero, because they just don't seem that popular. And maybe you'll all tell me in the comments exactly why. Maybe I'm completely wrong to think that this is something that somebody would actually want to buy, but I think it's a fun little thing to drive. I've been running around in it quite a bit, and I like it. It seems pretty good. If I actually needed like a courtesy car type thing, I'd probably hang on to it. I had a Zoe into Cleveley's for a service a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed they've got one. I think it might be an i-Miev, but I didn't actually notice which one of the three it was. But it was all sign written up though, is what I did notice, and they must use that as their sort of service courtesy car. But I don't have any need for that at the moment. I'm not big enough, not busy enough for that kind of thing. But I think it would be absolutely perfect for that if I did. But let me know what you think in the comments. Is the Peugeot Ion, Mitsubishi i-Miev, have they just had their day? Are they too limited in their capability? Even at £3,000, people don't seem to want them. I don't know. But you win some, you lose some. As I said, I can trade it on. I got someone interested in buying it at a price that means I'll lose a little bit on it, but not a huge amount. Not enough to need to worry too much about it. Probably more or less what I'll work out that I'll lose sort of monetary wise will be what the auction fees were on it. But that's obviously taking into account the fact I've put tyres on it, I put brakes on it, I put it through an MOT, all that. And so I'll lose a couple of £100 basically on this as it goes to the trade. As I say, you win some, you lose some. I'm sure I'll make it up on the next one. But if on the off chance you do want to buy this for £3,000, give me a call and we can make it happen. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing what you think of this one in the comments, and I'll see you next time.